is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with another video. We're going to talk about the Houston Rockets, a team that has finally almost got it right when they have made it to the 7th seed and they lost yesterday and it dropped them down to the 8th, but they're still in the playoffs. But one big problem looms over this Rockets team, and it's Chris Paul going down again. For another couple weeks, he will be out with the same injury that derailed him in the Clippers series when they beat San Antonio. It hurted them against the Rockets, and they ended up losing that series. They lost to the Golden State Warriors, and I feel like if the Rockets would have beat the Warriors, they would have won the ring. I'm not saying it would have been easy, but I still feel like they was the better team compared to the Cavaliers. But with all that being said, is we focusing on right now, and the Rockets have been mediocre to terrible. They haven't been good or great all season. They have looked terrible. And James Harden losing Chris Paul only means that he has to do more work. He's already averaging a blowout of 31.8 points a game, which already sounds kind of crazy because if you would have looked at James Harden in high school and in college, you would have never thought, and anybody saying they thought they lying, you would have never thought that James Harden would have averaged 31.8 points a game in the NBA. That's how good he has become. And honestly and truthfully, if I had to keep it real with the fans, which I always do, he would be MVP. If James Harden had 10 more, if there was 27 and 6, he would have been MVP. Or even if there was 21 and 8 or something, he would have been MVP right now. But the fact that they're losing and they look terrible and he's not playing hard defensively, the team can't knock down shots consistently throughout games. They get hot some games, they go cold, they living by the 3, they dying by the 3. And the saddest part about it, the orchestrator, the guy that keeps everything going, the guy that keeps everything flowing, the guy that keeps everything in order. He runs the team. He makes the right plays. He keeps them steady. And we've seen him do that against Golden State, knowing when to pass, knowing when to score, knowing when to do the pick and roll, not being able to guard Steph Curry and other people like Kevin Durant, getting the steals, controlling the tempo and the pace of the game, getting high-quality shots and pressure moments in the fourth quarter. Remember, Chris Paul helped close out a lot of them games so they can go up 3-2 against the Golden State Warriors. Remember, he was so clutch and helped them so much against the Utah Jazz. We all know that Chris Paul is one of the top 10 players in the league, or unless he's in the top 12 now. But this season, he has just completely fell off. He had got injured again with the hamstring last year. He doesn't look as explosive. He doesn't look as fast, like because Chris Paul has been a guy that can get to the areas he won't. He's taking more and settling for more difficult shots. He just can't stay healthy, and that's been something over his career. But the fact that he's older now, your body takes a while to heal. It doesn't heal as fast. You don't recover as fast. And the fact that he's getting injured at the wrong times. You don't want your second or first. To me, he's just as good as James Harden last year. But you don't want that type of player to go out in the Western Conference Finals. You don't want that type of player when you're 16 and 15. You don't want him to get injured at this time when they need him the most, when they need things to go the right way. Chris Paul goes out again, and now James Harden gonna have to score and assist on damn near every single basket just for them to even make it to the 8th seed, which they are right now, and he's been doing it already, and they one game out for being out of the playoffs and being the 12th or 13th best team in the NBA if they go on a losing streak. Everything that could have went wrong for the Rockets this year. And it's just very unfortunate. I know you still got to go out there and suit up. I know you still got to go out there with a winner's mentality. But this is just a huge blow to give Chris Paul $35 million this year. That's a lot of money, people. $35 million just for one season. And Chris Paul giving you 15 points, 41% from the field, 35 from three, 81, which is one of his lowest career averages ever, is 81-13, which actually is his worst from the free throw line is this season. And then he's only giving you 4 rebounds and 8 assists, but he's giving you 2 steals. He's only getting older, and these injuries are not helping him. These injuries is not looking or getting any better. And the fact that you still have him for 4 more years, and he already been injured damn near a majority of this year, it has to be frustrating for the Rockets fans. And I watch every single game because this is what I do. So it's crazy to see how bad Chris Paul had looked this year, and it seemed like he was just getting it right. And now he has that nagging hamstring injury that has been plaguing him for the last couple of years. And the fact that if he's continuing to have these problems is only make the contract look even worse, considering that he's not even playing up to the contract right now. But the fact that he has that injury that's been coming and going for the last couple of years, not the last couple of months, the last couple of years, it just kind of make you seem, should we have asked Chris Paul to take less? Maybe we could have kept Ariza if he took less money. Maybe we could have convinced him to take 25 million instead of 35 million. Maybe we could have gave it to somebody else to help us with James Harden, because you shouldn't be playing Eric Gordon as your small forward. You shouldn't be playing a 6'5" guy and James Harden as your small forward. That means you're just desperate. Just at the end of the day, and that's just the reality of this team. And now with Chris Paul going back down, they basically gonna have to do James Harden or bust. If James Harden not giving us 35 to 40, we're gonna lose. And that's just keeping it real with the Rockets fans and my fans. That's how low it has got for the Rockets this year. A team that has rose to the Western Conference Finals going up 3-2, putting Golden State in a losing situation, a win or go home fourth quarter for the Golden State Warriors, to a team that's clinging on barely to a playoff spot, that won 65 games last year, the best team in the NBA in the landslide, and now they're just trying to make the playoffs and hoping that they can. I told you they needed to get a guy like Jimmy Butler. They're going to need more than just a Trevor Ariza type of guy. James Harden ain't enough no more. If you look at the Western Conference, most of the teams in the West have at least 2 All-Star caliber players. Either 2 of them made the All-Star team or 2 of them are playing on the All-Star caliber level. James Harden don't have that right now. Clint Capella looks great. He looks better than last year, but I wouldn't call him an All-Star caliber center at this point. Can he get there? Yes, but not right now. He mastered his role. His defense has slipped a little bit to me. His switching was amazing last year. Is passable right now, but James Harden is basically in a situation where if he's not going out there doing everything and damn near dying on the court, they're not going to win games. And that's not good enough this year, especially in the Western Conference where everybody is competitive other than the Suns, which means it's tough. And the East has gotten better at the bottom. Not great, but these teams in the East are even respectable at the end of the day. So no team right now is a pushover. Even the Suns have Aiden and Booker, and they're the worst team in the NBA. Even the Cavaliers have a decent amount of talent. And the sad part about it is the Rockets, they just barely hanging on to dear life at this point. So I do feel for you Rockets fans. I love watching some Rockets. I love watching me some James Harden. It was fun to see them win 65 and take over the NBA last year. I loved them in the Utah series. They dominated in that, especially Chris Paul and in that Golden State series. But right now, James Harden will be MVP, but his team just not winning enough games to validate it. And right now, he's only going to have to put up more historic numbers just for them to keep this 7 to 8 spot. Can they win without Chris Paul? They did it last year, but they had more talent. This year, they lost a significant amount of talent, and they're not going to be able to take the hit as much as they could last year. So they need to make a move. They either got to try to sign some people that can contribute, or they're going to have to make a trade that can get them there. Because even if they do get Chris Paul back, we don't know what their record is going to be when he comes back, because he can be out 3 to 4 weeks. He can be out over a month like he was a couple years ago, and even this season. So we don't really know what Chris Paul going to be when he comes back. He already doesn't look like Chris Paul already, and will they have enough when he comes back to make that push to get them into the playoffs? Right now, they've been able to get themselves back in the conversation. They're a 2-game losing streak away from being all the way back out of it. It's sad, it's crazy, but it is part of the NBA. Health and injuries are the parts that we hate the most about the NBA. But Chris Paul doesn't look like CP3, and you're paying him $35 million, not just this year, but a couple more years after this. And he doesn't even look like it, even when he's been healthy this year. So, maybe that he should have took a pay cut. Maybe they should have just found something else. Because right now, this Chris Paul contract is going to cripple what they can do now that they have played James Harden and Clint Capella. This is as good as the team really can get, people. They can't really get no better than what they played this year unless Chris Paul plays better. But he's only getting older, and he's always been injured his whole career, and it doesn't really look good for the Rockets. So let me know what you guys think. Will the Rockets make the playoffs? Will James Harden put up some more historic number just to keep him alive? Is it even worth it? Considering that if they make it to the playoffs, Chris Paul not playing the way he plays, is it even worth making it to the playoffs? Because you're stuck with Clint Capella, James Harden, Chris Paul at this point. James Harden is tradable. Clint Capella is tradable. But that's the team that was so dominant last year. Now they mediocre, even with them healthy. So it's crazy. They're in a sad situation. That contract is going to cripple their future, and it's going to be hard to move. Even if they could, they're going to give up a lot just to move it. If they do decide to stay with Chris Paul, how good can he be? How great will he be? And can he get back to at least the Chris Paul of last year? It doesn't look like it, but you still got him for another 4 years, and that's the sad part about it. So let me know what you guys think. Will the Rockets make it? Will they lose? Should they even care about making it at this point? Is James Harden playing his best season so far? Do you feel sorry for James Harden because they don't have enough really to compete? You playing 2 shooting guards, him and Eric Gordon is basically the heart and soul of the team together. And James Harden has been spectacular this year, honestly. It's just not enough no more. Every team in the West is a threat besides the Suns. So you can't just take games off. You can't just lose 3 games and figure it out. Every loss matter right now because everybody's so close to each other, and anybody can make it to the playoffs this year. And they haven't been able to separate themselves. They just look like one of the teams. And that's something I couldn't say the last couple of years with James Harden being their best player. Besides the 1 year they finished 41-41. That was the only year. But they made it, and they got put out. Is it really worth getting put out in the first round? I don't know. Because I don't really think that Chris Paul is going to bounce back and have a better year after he comes back from his hamstring injury whenever he comes. And will they even be in the playoff picture when he comes back? Only way we're going to know is by seeing it and watching the game and see what happens. But this is the worst case scenario that we all thought was impossible. This is as low as it's going to get. And even I didn't think they'd be as bad as they are this year. They spent a lot of money in a big 3, but the role players have not played up to their standard, and they haven't been able to plug anybody into this link. This team was supposed to plug anybody around Chris Paul and Capella. They should be able to figure it out with James Harden. It doesn't look like that this year, and they got to figure something out unless they're going to be out of the playoffs for the first time since James Harden got there. And even if they do make it, is it really worth it? Because you're not beating Golden State. You're not beating the Thunder with this roster and how you're playing right now. And James Harden doesn't play the same way in the playoffs like he does in the regular season, so that's another thing. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description in the comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for supporting the movement. Thanks for buying the merchandise. Thanks for subscribing. Continue to check out my older videos. I do breakdowns when I break down actual footage and actual players. I do rookie breakdowns. I also cover every trade and every signing that I can. I make videos every single day. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching. That's why I continue to go. Quinn Wade basketball analysis. I'm gone, and let me know what you guys think the future of the Rockets, what will happen this year, and if they regret keeping Chris Paul. Let me know.